Hi, Jim. Thanks so much for joining us on the How to Build and Care Agency podcast. I forgot the name of the agency or the name of the podcast for a second. Thanks so much for joining us.
Thank you for having me, Danny. And yeah, great start. And thanks for retelling me the name of the podcast. It's great.
Yes, of course. I saw you at the APNA conference, the Association of Premier Nanny Agencies, and you were a whirlwind of success. I knew I had to go to your workshop and your big other workshop because I knew everybody would be buzzing about AI. And I was not wrong. They were. Everybody started coming up to me telling me we got to do some stuff. And I was like, I know. Tell us a little bit about how you got to where you are with doing all of this with AI.
Yeah. Yeah. And it was great to meet you there. And I love that conference. It's so fun to meet all of the people in that industry, and everyone's so friendly. So I always love going to APNA and INA and those types of conferences. Well, how far back should I go? I guess what matters here is I started an e-commerce agency back in 2009, and I was selling websites, and we built pretty big e-commerce websites. So back when it was harder to build websites, it was actually even harder to do back end e-commerce. So data, shipping, it was a pretty technical situation at that time. So I was a co-founder of this company for 5 years. We became a partner of a company called Magento, which is really a fun story because I think everything is about who you know and putting yourself out there. And in this case, back then, I put myself out there, met somebody who was building this Magento ecosystem, and they gave us a shot to become a partner. Well, that came with, hitching our wagon and a lot of success. So we grew the agency from like 3 people to 22 people. And it was just a whirlwind of an education for me because I was also like 25 at the time. And yeah, so it was just real experience learning about web development, learning about user interface design. And then I added services like digital marketing and SEO. So that was kind of where I got all of my real life education for all of that type of agency type stuff. I decided to have children and get married and not work a million hours a week. So
Yeah.
I pivoted and sold my part of the agency and then took a little time off. And then I ended up joining other agencies to help them grow. And that was a really fun time to learn more about video production and all sorts of other things that agencies do. So yeah, that was kind of like where I learned everything. And then I decided I wanted to do my own thing again, but this time completely on my own. And so in 2022, I started building out like a sales program. And I was really excited to teach women specifically at the time how to
Yeah.
do sales in tech. And right when I was about ready to roll out my training and everything I was doing, OpenAI released ChatGPT to the public. And I was like, okay, this is going to change everything that I'm doing. So I stopped and took a pivot and decided that I wanted to teach people AI as it came out. But really, it's more about sales and marketing powered by AI. So that's how I
Yeah.
got here.
That's an amazing story. It actually is very organic for the way that you kind of came here because it's not just a background in AI and all of that. It's how AI can be used and leveraged for all of the things that people in business need.
Yeah, exactly. And I think that's where I'm seeing a lot of success right now because, well, just, the past 3 years with Jam AI, I didn't know what I was selling or what I was doing when I first started because there was, this big hole of things I had to learn and understand how to communicate them. So now I have Club Jam, which is my on demand training and community. And it's this really fun place where people can go and learn things on their own. And then every week we all come together and learn something together. So that's been really fun. But I also was like, do I offer website services? Do I offer SEO, AI SEO now? Do I do consulting? So that's been kind of evolving over the past 3 years as well. And
Yeah.
pretty much settled on consulting, kind of one on one training or accelerators. And then Club Jam seems to be what I personally have capacity for it at this point. But
Yeah.
it's hard to not like branch out and do other things with every new tool that comes out, I see so much opportunity.
Yeah, and it's a lot of fun when you're helping people. You
Yeah.
just start seeing like, oh, I could help you there and there and there too. I'm really glad that you landed on, at least for now, I with everybody, because there's so much to know about it, and I feel like I don't know much about it. And then I speak to other people and I'm like, wow, I'm light years ahead. And I feel like I know nothing.
Yeah.
Where should people, or like what is AI really? What is
Yeah.
it?
That's a great question. So I like to answer this in a way that makes it easy to understand. So AI is when you are working with a computer, but you're not giving it instructions. You're actually having a conversation with it. And there's different types of AI as well. So the type of AI that we're doing and that you and I are doing, and most people listening to this, is working with LLMs. So those are large language models. And that's like ChatGPT, Claude, Gemini. Those are the types of models that we're working with. And basically, they're trained on the Internet of Things and they're trained on pre trained transformers inside the systems. So, actually, the more that we work with them, the more that they learn. And that's why you'll see ChatGPT specifically will have, different versions come out. We had ChatGPT 1, 2, 3, and now we're on 5. And now there's 3 different types of 5. Um, and that's because all those different models have been trained a little bit differently and on more information. So, really, I like to just think of it as it's chatting with a computer that can really think and provide answers to you rather than you telling it what to do. Does
And
that help?
all of the info, no, totally. This is great. And so like all of the information that it has, it's like pulled from the internet, like like things like Reddit and probably websites and probably like Wikipedia. Like I don't know, but like I'm guessing that it took
Yeah.
all of this information in, because what I did with it very recently is I took an image and I said, "Hey, make this image look, sleek," and
Yeah.
it just, spit out something else, which was very sleek. But I'm like, where did it get? How? What is, where it thought sleek? What is it? How
Yeah.
did it come up with like, oh, sleek? You mean this?
Well, and that's a good point to talk about what you were doing is prompting, right? And prompting is how you interact with an LLM. And so you said make it sleek. So it went and it said, okay, everything I've been trained on the internet, this is what sleek means to me. And then it reinterpreted your picture and added sleek to it. So that was your prompt. And one of the things that we talk about a lot and that I train on both in groups and workshops and everywhere is prompting because it's so important on how you ask questions to these LLMs.
Hmm.
So, actually, just yesterday, we had a training about prompting, and it was really interesting just to see how different people have been working with these LLMs and some of the responses that they're getting. And I find the people who come to me and they're like, "Jam, AI sucks. I hate it. Like it doesn't work." Okay, well, what are you asking it to do, and how are you asking it to do that? Because chances are, if you give it a role, which is one of the tips we like to do, so you could say act as XYZ, what's the role? So for an example would be act as a content creator for engine hire. And then you'd give it the thing to do. So that way it knows its role, it knows what it's supposed to do for an output, rather than you just saying, write a blog on domestic staffing in Louisiana. Like it doesn't have context for why it's doing that. It will still do it, but it probably won't be as good as if you have a really great prompt behind it.
One of the things that I have done with prompting myself, and sorry because a lot of this is going to be based on what I know and see.
I love that. Yeah.
Thank you. Okay, great. Is that I'll ask it for like, I'm trying to do this. What should my prompt be? And then I'll spit
Mhm.
out some stuff and I'll go, oh, okay, like that's pretty good. And I'll like keep things. Is that like a good like 101 thing to do? Or like, where am I at that?
Yeah, and it's fun to do if you just have so much time. Like I know we all have all this extra time to just mess around. Yes, that is a good idea to ask it to enhance your prompt. I like to also try it in the 3 different LLMs that I use and ask Gemini, enhance this prompt. ChatGPT, how could I make this prompt better? Like do it to all three of them and then see which one fits best when it comes back. So that's kind of a fun thing to do. And yes, a great way to make sure that you're working with the system. There's also just so many fun things you could do with prompting. Could I read you a prompt that we did yesterday that was like mind blowing?
That would be a mind blowing, would be perfect for our podcast and listeners.
Okay, let me find it really quick. So in Club Jam, I like to bring in other AI experts because I don't know everything and I like to have other people come in and tell us stuff. So hold on, this was a really good one. Okay, so yesterday we had an AI expert named Olga Topchaya, and she talked to us specifically about advanced prompting. And I do this stuff all the time. Like I'm always looking at prompts, and this one was really fun. So basically, with this prompt, you can create an expert advisory panel for your business. And
Oh,
so the example prompt is I'm going to read the whole thing and then talk through it. But it's generate a prompt to role play as a mixture of experts for a small business who does blank, whatever your business does. Each persona needs to be rich and well defined with concrete goals. The owner has to balance immediate need for revenue versus long term business growth goals in today's economy in the United States. I want the 5 characters. So then she has Sal, the financial analyst, Karen, the marketing strategist, George, the executive coach, Mark, the market analyst, and then
yeah.
expert 5 is your choice. So this was really, really fun to try out. I just did a quick one where I said, I really love doing keynote speaking, but I'm having trouble traveling all the time and balancing all my business needs and everything else. What should I do? And each expert weighed in on what they thought I should do from their standpoint of what their expertise was. And it was so cool. And I loved it.
That's awesome.
Yeah,
Would you, I suppose, recommend that we all give that a try with our businesses?
I think so. I think it's a great prompt to try. Yeah. And there's so many like that are just fun, but that's a really good one.
I love that you had mentioned just before you talked about the prompt that you basically like are using several like at once to see like what it comes up with, because they're all trained differently. Like ChatGPT
Mhm.
has it's been built by the ChatGPT people, the
Yep.
OpenAI people, and Gemini that's created by the Google people, and so like it's based on it. They know different things, and I also like competing them and seeing like I'll open up like 3 at once. So is there like ones that I suppose you recommend that we should look at, like just like as standard ones? I feel like everybody talks about ChatGPT and now
Mhm.
everybody I feel like also knows about Gemini. Is there like a third or a fourth one that you should go, oh, these ones are also things that people should look at?
Yeah, and I'll tell you kind of how I use them too, because I feel like they're all my friends and my coworkers, and I go to them for different things. So, ChatGPT is basically my co founder at this point, and ChatGPT, I have the paid version. So, I'm able to really customize specific agents for my business. So, those are called like custom GPTs and they're trained specifically to do a certain thing in my business. I can also make them for other people, so that's been fun too. So I go to ChatGPT for a lot of customized content creation and brainstorming because it knows so much about me at this point. So I really like that tool for that. Gemini, I love very much as well. The Google AI Studio has come a long way since last March specifically. And it's integrating all of these elements into Gemini. You may have seen Nano Banana come out. So I like to use Gemini for image generation with Nano Banana. I also really like to use Gemini for research because I find that its agent mode is just really great. Obviously, it has Google at its fingertips, so it comes back with a lot of great research. And then the third one that I would recommend is Claude, which is an LLM built by Anthropic. And the reason I like that one is that, well, there's a few reasons. It's a little bit more secure because it's a private company. So they don't train their LLM on your conversations, but unless you opt in to do that, I should say. And then it also has the ability to go into your Google Drive and your Gmail which I know the other ones do now as well. But the reason I like to have Claude do it is because along with that, you can train it to sound just like you. So that's what I use to pre-draft emails in my inbox. So when I go check my email, I already have drafts written in my inbox and they sound just like me. They don't look like these long emoji filled AI generated content that we're seeing.
Awesome. With like it making it sound like you, which I think is what a lot of people want to do. I think that that's like innately something where people go, I wanted to write this, but now I want it to sound like me. Is it like how hard was it to train it or to teach it or to use it to the point where you go, oh, that sounds pretty much like me. Like I feel really good about that.
Yeah. I actually haven't had to retrain mine in probably a year. So I did it about a year ago. And at the time, all I had to do was find emails that I've written that I liked. And I collected probably 50 samples. Sorry if you can hear my dog. Go away. Probably like 50 samples of my writing. And then I uploaded that as a PDF to train as a style.
And that was like it. You were like, yeah. And from there on, you felt pretty good about it.
Yeah. Yeah. From then on, it's worked pretty well. So, and I will say, I prefer brevity in emails and getting to the point. So it's not that hard to sound like me. So maybe that's why I haven't had to retrain it.
Well, you also have like the giant background of all of the time that you've spent in your other businesses building up to like knowing how like what a good email and all of that
Yeah.
stuff is.
Yeah.
I've also learned brevity is very important depending on who you're talking to. Just get to the point.
Different styles for different roles, right? If I'm sending a marketing email, it'll be longer, but sales, it's going to be all about my client that I'm talking to and what I heard from them and then, coworkers and partners keeping it brief. We're all busy.
Yeah. Yeah. Let me just ask you a crazy question. How far
Mhm.
in the future would it be until you think this podcast could just be AI you and AI me?
It could be right now if we wanted.
No way.
Yeah, it totally could be. There's a tool I was playing with yesterday where it looks like this and you're real coming in, but then you're talking to somebody who's not real. So you could technically go to that tool and say, I want to talk to an AI expert who's, I don't know, blonde and, has a background in marketing. And then that AI person will pop up.
Do you think like you talked about the prompt? I'm sorry to everyone listening to this because I probably won't edit this out to say that I just like am a fury of brainstorming all the time.
Mhm. Yeah.
If you ask my wife, I could have like a billion businesses. Most of them would be really bad, but I feel like there's a few good ones in there.
Hmm.
With that, when you were talking about like the marketing and or like the team of people that's like your panel, would it be an okay idea? I don't know how to phrase this, but like I'm thinking about like I put in like be like Bill Gates is on my panel
Yeah.
and Mark Zuckerberg is on my panel. Would it be able to like what is this going to be
That's so
helpful? What is this crazy thing going to do?
So funny you said that because when I saw that prompt yesterday, I've seen it before, but with Bill Gates, I think he was on it. It was like Bill Gates, Oprah, Jesus. I don't know. You could put whoever you want. That's the really cool part about AI is it's so custom for you and your experience. So the other thing that I like to do is if there's an author I like or podcast celebrity personality that I like, I can go in and say act as or put their names in that prompt. And now all of a sudden they're going to help me with my business, which is a really cool thing to do. Like how many of us could ever get the chance to ask Oprah, what they think we should do in our business or is this a good book to read?
Yeah, I've definitely put in. I've read business books that I really enjoy, and then
Mhm.
so on email copy, and I've read an email. I'd be like, now how would so and so write this email? And it was like, oh yeah, like it knew
Yeah.
those things, and I tried to make it sound like them. Putting on my care agency hat, what do you think are like the first couple things, or like maybe just even like I know AI is big, so like what is like maybe the first thing I should think about using with?
So before you even use AI, it's really important to figure out your brand strategy. So that's one of the first things that we do when I bring people into either Club Jam or consulting. So we go through my brand voice training, which is if you have a brand that's super specific already, that's great. We still have to learn how to train the AI to sound like you. If you don't have that, and most people don't, because, a lot of people just kind of, especially small business owners, they kind of organically develop brand. They may pick out like a name and some logo colors and things like that. But as far as really going deep and saying, what is our why? Who is our customer profile? And really diving down into who you are, what do you sound like, and who are you talking to? Like that is the number one first thing that I do. And the fun part is I have fun, interesting prompts to help you think through all that stuff. So that's the
Amazing.
very first thing, because until you have that nailed down, you don't want to go create content for anything else. And you reminded me, because one of the prompts that we do is we assign a little bit of a celebrity style to your brand. So it's not what's Danny's voice sound like, but if Engine Hire was a celebrity that we all know of, and you could mix them up too, like what would Engine Hire's celebrity voice be if you could pick anyone?
Really? Just pick one out right now?
Yeah, like
I
what?
okay. Mm,
Yeah, you've been there a
This is
while.
this is probably a terrible one, but I'm gonna go with Matthew McConaughey.
That's not a terrible one. That's a great one. He's a great marketer. He makes tons of money with marketing. He's trustworthy. Would you mix it with any others? Would you?
Probably. I mean, like, now I'm also thinking
I know
about,
I'm
like,
putting
Bill
you on the
Gates.
spot.
Oh, but I love this because, like, it probably would be, like, someone like Bill Gates because we're a technology company, and, there's the piece of Matthew McConaughey that I like is that he feels like you could talk to him. Like, anyone, I feel like you could be, like, very approachable. And then
Hmm.
Bill Gates is very smart and technical, and you just trust him when he's telling you things about technology. Like,
Yeah,
implicitly, I would be like, "Yeah, I don't." Even if I felt like I really knew. So those are my
yeah.
2 myths.
Yeah, so one of the exercises we'd go through, it's called your brand DNA. Like, let's develop your brand DNA. Who are you? How do you sound? So, by the time, if we were actually doing this together, by the time we were done, I'd bet you'd have like at least four celebrities. And so we would have this whole thing about engine hire and who you are and why you started and what are you all about, right? And then we'd create your voice DNA where it's like, okay, every time we write content for Engine Hire, it's going to be 60% Matthew McConaughey, 10% Bill Gates. I don't know where I'm at. Let's see, 30%, wait, 20%. Um,
I love
no,
that you're
Gwyneth
doing the math.
Paltrow. Gwyneth
That
Paltrow.
that's great. Well,
You
that's
need a little
great.
soft side
She's
in
great.
there.
Yeah.
Yeah. So that's really fun to do. That's where I'd say to start. I know that probably didn't answer your question because most people want to start with the tools right away, but I think you have to have this strategy first.
No, this is great because we could easily be telling people to go use this tool, to put in a
Hmm.
prompt, put in this prompt, people, and give this a go. But really,
Yeah.
you want to rewind before you do that and actually think about like your company and everything you're
Yeah.
trying to achieve, and frame that. Build a
Yeah.
really good foundation with that before you add in AI. I suppose that's like just like a great idea in the first place of like build a foundation of your company and before you put any tools to like really elevate it.
Yeah. Well, and we'll start hearing more about this too, but AI responsibility, there's an environmental impact of using
Yes.
AI. In fact,
My wife tells me about that every day.
yeah,
She
no,
tells me every time I put in a prompt that that's one water bottle.
it's true. All of my, I'm doing things you didn't know you could do with AI on TikTok, and my hater comments are like, "That wasn't worth a 3 bottles of water," or whatever. And you know, they're right. However, there's a lot of use in education. But going back to strategy first, there's so much that we could just burn in AI every day for fun. But like, if you actually have this strategy, you're being a little bit more responsible when you go and create content, whether it's a video or an image or whatever you're making, how many water bottles you're burning a day. If you have strategy, you'll burn less. So I don't
Could
think you could burn
you
more.
Yeah, I was gonna say, I have a feeling a lot of people don't know what that means, and I only kind of know what that means. Could you explain it to me?
I only kind of know as well. I actually had a whole conversation with ChatGPT about it recently because I was like, I want to intelligently respond to comments and questions about the environmental impacts of AI. And it has to do with the like data centers and cooling the machines that keep all of this AI going. Like the long and short of it is just that. But in my ChatGPT conversation, it was like Netflix burns just as much, posting on Instagram, like AI is just a big use case right now because so many people are using it all the time. But everything it's called your digital footprint, like everything you do takes energy. And so I think that's where the real smart people need to come in and help us save the environment from AI. And I'm not the one to talk to about that, but I'm all for it.
Well, this is great. Our conversation is covering a lot of really great things that I think is just a good baseline of
Yeah.
AI in our world today.
Mhm.
Uh, I had a really good question, but I've lost it. Maybe it was not a really good question, so
It
that's
probably
okay.
wasn't great then.
It's true. Oh, I think could you before we like really like wind up, could you tell me what you think is on the horizon for AI? I think to myself,
Mhm.
I often think what I know about it, because from what I've seen, I go, it's 10 steps ahead of me. What somebody's doing something way crazier, kind of like what we talked about of like having a podcast that could possibly be us too. And it could be right now. That's people are doing amazing things with it. Where do you see it maybe going?
So, agents, number one, agents. Agents are predicted to take over. So, instead of websites, people will just have these agents and apps. And I was just at a trade show. I saw 4 billion agents will be created in the next 3 years. So, that's what's coming. Agent builders are popping up left and right. And also, like these vibe coding platforms are popping up left and right. And I think it will probably be the same thing as when we saw all the different browsers come out and it ended up with like Safari and Google. I think this will be the same thing in the case of apps and agents, and Google's doing an amazing job staying up to date. Every time I log into Google Cloud, there's something new. They just came out with a new vibe coding app called Firebase for mobile app development. They have Vertex AI for agent creation. We all saw on Dev Day last week, OpenAI came out with their agent builder. And we have things like N8N and Make.com where people like us could go and make agents without code. So it's really just thinking of what's coming next, but also like the strategy behind it still is going to be king. And like I've had people say, here's all my money, build me an agent for this. And I'll actually talk them out of it because it doesn't make sense. Like we have to think through what are these agents doing and is that the best choice for your business? Now, call center agents are great for, dentists and places where you call and you're expecting to be put on hold, but I don't know about you when I answer the phone and I hear the like beep and then a robot. I used to
Yeah.
hang up, but now I say, "Who made you? What are you doing?" just to kind of learn. But nobody's like really as consumer having great conversations with AI calls that I know of. I mean, have you? Do you answer those? Do you talk to them?
No, I see also a lot of people, use using Engine Hire, using our chat.
Mhm.
And a lot of them, while I can see AI is helping them solve problems, a lot of them are, just being like human, transfer,
Yeah.
uh, having all that stuff in. And
Yeah.
our team is great and they answer all of that stuff. And it's
Yeah.
great that AI is there to kind of take some of the burden off of them so everyone can get really great, good quality support. That's my pitch for Engine Hire support team. Good job, team.
Nice job, Edward.
But yeah, I'm with you. Yeah, it's not great.
Yeah. So things like that, but like what are agents good at? I mean, there's a lot of things that they could take off your plate from a business owner perspective, a lot of marketing tasks, and those are only getting better by the day. You may have seen Sora 2 was released last week, which is OpenAI's incredibly real video that you could put yourself in. And I don't know, I have mixed feelings about that. It's coming, so we have to deal with it. I'm a little worried about what that looks like. What if somebody can take my face or your face and, put a voice in that's similar to ours and then say something that we don't believe, or I don't know. I think there's a lot of room for, like, criminal activity with that, and I'm a little worried about what that looks like. Not to scare everybody, but it's a thing.
Wow. I'm gonna sleep. Well, okay. I will to balance that out. The first thing I'm thinking of, it's gonna be really easy for me to write my favorite Hollywood love story movie and then put
Mhm.
myself in it. Probably not myself. I'd probably cast a better AI actor. But do all of that with
Right.
just the tools in my house with my laptop right in front of me. I just
Yeah,
and crush it.
it's crazy. Yeah. Do you know that, fighter named Jake Paul?
No.
He had, like, a Netflix series, but he, for some reason, volunteered his face to anyone, so anyone can make videos of him. So now people have used this, like, he's a big manly guy, and now there's all these videos of him wearing, like, dresses, putting makeup on, and it looks just like him. You cannot tell it's not him. So it's a kind of an interesting social experiment going on, and to be continued on that because it just started.
Yes, that's amazing. I will suggest to everybody, since they're listening already, to listen to Plankton from SpongeBob SquarePants sing some Taylor Swift songs. Very fun for me. In fact, to
Mhm.
me, my favorite versions of some of these songs. So
I'll have
I
to
like
do that. That sounds great.
it's fun. Yeah. Could you tell us before we round out? Could you just tell us a little bit about your program and how people could learn more about you and how to work with you, Jim?
Yeah, totally. I am all about people learning. So you can go to my website, it's jamout.ai, and I have a whole section of freebies there that you could download with prompts. And I have a free 5-day course as well. And then if you wanted to join Club Jam, it's super easy to do. You can join monthly or get the annual. And it's really fun. We meet every week and we are learning things like crazy and bringing in experts here and there. So, yeah, check it out. And if it seems like a good fit, sign up and shoot me an email. It's jam@jamout.ai if you have any questions.
Thank you, Jan. Thank you so much for sharing so much, really giving us a really great baseline of AI.
Yeah.
And I know you can go much further. Thanks for sharing your time with us and everybody. I think it's very simple. You got to reach out and learn more straight from the source.
Well, thank you for having me, Danny. And everyone I talked to so far is a big fan of Engine Hire. And I'm excited to work more with you guys and learn more about you because you have a lot of fans.
Uh, Thank you. We're doing some fun AI stuff. I'll have to get your take on it and see what we could do.
Oh, yeah, I can't wait.
Cool. All right. Well,
All
thanks
right.
so much.
Bye. Have a good one.